This morning we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, The Cause of All Causes, and Text 8. Narada Muni is inquiring from his father about creation. That's we will hear in this chapter about creation. But first he's approaching his father, Brahma, that we will hear about that further this morning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Etanme pritchata sarvam sarvahya sakaleshvara. Vichanihi chatai vedam aham buddhyenu sasitaha. Now the word-for-word translation. Etat, all those may unto me, pritchataha, inquisitive, sarvam, all that is inquired, sarvahya, one who knows everything, sakala, overall, ishvara, the controller, vichanihi, kindly explain, yata, as, eva, they are, idam, this, aham, myself, buddhi, can understand, anushasitaha, just learning from you. Translation and purport by Abhayacharana Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. My dear Father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I am able to understand it as your student. Purport. The inquiries made by Narada Muni are very important for everyone concerned. And as such, Narada requested Brahmaji to deem them suitable so that all others who may come in the line of disciplic succession of the Brahma Sampradaya may also know them properly without any difficulty. Om Ajnanatimandasya Jananjana Shanakam Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Shvam Rupakadamyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shiu Shiyuda Padakamanam Shigum Vaishnavam Sa Shri Upam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parjana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwara Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriya Pankha Kalptavasha Kripa Sindhuvesha Patnam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatarani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So now Srila Prabhupada makes this point this very important point in the purport. It's because Narada Muni is asking these questions, and they are recorded in the Bhagavatam, that the entire Gaudiya Brahma Sampradaya is taking advantage of it. That so that means that we cannot understand spiritual life directly from Krishna. One must go to his devotees. That so this is a very important principle, which is mentioned here at the beginning. That it means that yes, if we want to establish our relationship with Krishna, we must first make advancement through his recognized devotees. If we try to establish a relationship with Krishna directly, that will not work. Not try to establish your relationship directly, Srila Prabhupada says. He says in the purport of 1922, there's a purport of Bhishmadev, spoken by Bhishmadev to Lord Krishna. That, and he teaches us indirectly that do not approach the Lord directly, but through his devotees. So there must be a medium to which is transparent and competent to lead us on the right path. That, in the same way, pleasing devotees is more important than pleasing Krishna directly, or trying to please Krishna directly. And that's explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Someone can say, I just follow Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. I don't need a spiritual master. But what are these instructions in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says, Tatvina Panapadna, Pariprasna Nasebhya, Upadekshante Tekyam, Ghaninas Tatvadakshan. You have to approach us as spiritual master and serve him with humility, asking questions. That so these are Krishna's instructions. If you learn from Krishna directly, you have to follow his instructions and accept the spiritual master. Otherwise, you are not surrendering to Krishna. So, and these principles are explained in the Bhagavad Gita, and here we see these principles in action. So don't try to establish your relationship with Krishna directly. There must be a medium, transparent, that will lead us to the right path. Because we will see 2 chapters further, 279. There Srila Prabhupada in the purport writes, the devotee is more kind and easier to approach. So this is explained in this verse 2746. So surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the laborers class, the maintainers, the sabaras, or even the birds and beasts, can also know the signs of God and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering to the pure devotee of the Lord and by following in the footsteps in their footsteps in devotional service. So all these groups are mentioned, but everyone in Kali Yuga is sinful, because having a material desire is sinful. That's sinful. Because why? Because material desire, I want to enjoy something, but it belongs to Krishna. It's not your right to enjoy something from another. And that is the base of sinful activities. Of course, there are sinful activities which cause great suffering and less suffering, but they all cause suffering. Soms was jābūt dukrījona evati. Atjante kante kantia nati shramatu Buddha. So, you want to enjoy, you will suffer, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. But to get out of it, we must take shelter of the pure devotees in the disciplic succession and follow their instructions. And why? In the purport there, Prabhupada writes, the loving representative of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. So we cannot approach Krishna directly. We have lost our spiritual vision. No way. Is adokshaya, beyond our sense perception. But this representative, we can approach, much more easy to approach that time. Because a sinful soul, Prabhupada writes, cannot approach the Lord directly. If we have material desires, we are sinful, we cannot approach the Lord directly. To approach the Lord directly, you must be qualified. You must be pure in heart, without material contamination. Then you are on the spiritual platform. Then you can approach the Lord directly. But such a sinful man can very easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. So these are principles which are very important. So Lord Narada Muni is honoring his father. So you are the controller of all. And this is also another principle. Mad bhakta puja vyadikaha. Worship of my devotee is greater than worship me. So these are more important instructions that also trying to understand the heart of the spiritual master. In our movement, the heart of the spiritual master is in line with the heart of Prabhupada, his mission. That unless, because you have that principle, which is explained in 241 in Bhagavad Gita. 241 explains that Vyasyatmika Buddhi Ekana Koranandanam Pausakyananta Sa. So it says, yes, Vyasyatmika Buddhi Ekana Korananda Pausakyananta Sa Buddhio Vyavasainam. That the sinful people of this world who have so many attraction for material things, their mind goes everywhere. But the devotee's mind is fixed on one point. That if we are liberated, our mind is always fixed on Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj. But if we are not liberated, our mind should be fixed on the instructions of the spiritual master, following these instructions. Whatever you do. And the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is full of Krishna's instructions. Like in the third, at the end of the fourth canto, the Praschetas, they are doing austerities in devotional service together to please Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna says, I'm very pleased with your cooperation, with your friendship. So there's cooperation and friendship. And this is so important, because that pleases the Lord if we cooperate to please Srila Prabhupada. If we cooperate to keep together a project of Prabhupada, of his representative Bhakti Charamaj in DeLand, if we cooperate together, if everyone takes his part of the burden of the difficulties of the project, so that if we cooperate, then we will get mercy. Because to the Pashetas, Lord Vishnu says, yes, Lord Vishnu says, I'm very pleased with your cooperation. If Krishna is pleased, we make spiritual advancement. So Prabhupada's mission, all these projects, are our opportunity to make spiritual advancement. And if we cooperate together, it will please the representative of the Lord, our spiritual master and Prabhupada. And then, yes, then we get to understand who Krishna is. You need Krishna's mercy. So therefore we should always, this does not need to be big things we are doing. But try to contribute to Prabhupada's mission what we can, and in a balanced way. And then we will make that, then we are on the safe side. The mercy of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada will be there. Because the principle is the devotees are more merciful than the Lord himself. That Bhagavad Gita 3:29, Prabhupada writes, the devotees understand the purpose, the Lord's purpose, and are more kind than the Lord. So that is the way Narada Muni is inquiring. That is inquiring not only for himself, for the entire disciplic succession. Srila Prabhupada said to one disciple, I'm 11, you are 12. Prabhupada said, I'm the 11th in the line of Lord Chaitanya. You are 12. So our spiritual master, 12. I'm 13. If it goes further disciples become 14. But we are in the line that, and we are getting this mercy, these answers of Brahma. That, but to understand and to realize them, we need to take shelter of a living representative. We need to take shelter of the devotees. Does not mean only from our Diksha Guru, also from all those who give instructions, Siksha Gurus. We take shelter and we try to understand that. So it doesn't work directly. We have to follow Krishna's basic instructions, take shelter of a spiritual master, and then taking shelter of a spiritual master means we take shelter of our spiritual master as representative of Prabhupada. Means take shelter of Prabhupada's instructions. Spiritual master speaks to us that you have first, the spiritual master speaks to us. Here, Prabhupada speaks to us through the purport. That this is mercy. His purports are more important than the verses. Because the purpose give us insight how to realize it. But still you can read these purports and not realize much. We need mercy. That mercy comes from service. from pleasing the spiritual master. That should be together. We hear and we do service. So Shadadanasya Vasta Katavachis Yamnat Sevayavi Papunya Tirtani Sevanat. You hear and you please the Mahatma by service, Mahat Seva. So we engage in Prabhupada's mission, we hear. Both things should be there. We need mercy. And that mercy comes to the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is more merciful than Krishna. Because we cannot approach Krishna unless we are pure, but we are impure. And therefore we need the spirit. The spiritual master is more merciful. He gives us deeper insights that I see that we study the Bhagavatam, we study the Bhagavatam and we read the verses of the Bhagavatam. I studied the Bhagavatam. I went to it so many times now. But now, if I reach purpose of the first canto, I see how Prabhupada, how this purpose are practically most repetition. The principles of this purpose are repetitions, are meanings of other verses. Prabhupada is paraphrasing and explaining to explain this verse. And the other verses, they maintain also principles to be realized. So his purposes are very deep. But in the beginning, we taste only the surface. If you become purified, you read them again, then you start to understand the deeper meaning. And that's the mercy of the spiritual master. And that mercy gives us deeper insights in the practical value of all these verses. So taking shelter of a spiritual master that gives us the understanding. Narada Muni writes here, you be kindly instructed to me so that I'm able to understand it as your student. Narada Muni knows I need instructions to understand it deeply, from instructions from the spiritual master. And therefore, Srila Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur says that this Vyavshatmika Buddhi, Ekanako, you are fixing on the instructions of the spiritual master. That means our life becomes auspicious when we come to this point of Shastra Shakshur, seeing to the scriptures. Seeing to the scriptures your life, taking decisions through the scriptures. That you mold your life according to these instructions of Prabhupada. And then your life becomes auspicious and you are bound to make spiritual advancement. So this principle here is very important. Pleasing the Vaishnavas, pleasing those who are more advanced. We have the example of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, he did his puja and then offered the prasadam first to Haridas Thakur, a pure soul. And he said, by offering this to Haridas Thakur, I get the results of offering prasad to thousands of Brahmins. Because he's a Vaishnava Brahmin. The Brahmins are very dear to Krishna, but especially the Vaishnava Brahmins. They are most dear to Krishna because they are his devotees. Practically, real Brahman means Vaishnava Brahman. Because a Brahman who has only attained Nishta, impersonal liberation, his realization is not complete. So that's another point which we'll discuss later, like in the third canto. There you have Lord Narayan, after the four Kumaras has been cursed Jai and Vijay. Lord Narayan came to the gate of Vaikuntha and said, yeah, the Brahmins are very dear to me. That if my arm would hurt them, I would lop it off. So strong. That of course, also we pray every day to Krishna. Gopamana itarisha chartitai Krishnaya Govinya namo nama. That Gopamana itayasa, the Brahmins, the cows, they are very dear to me. So Krishna's, but what to say about Krishna's devotees? They are very dear to him. But devotee means, of course, all devotees are dear to him, but especially the pure devotee. And that is also the teaching, the basic teaching. So Goswami explains in text 5 of Nectar of Instruction, the greatest devotee is the one who is engaged in undeviated, unalloyed devotional service and who has lost the tendency to criticize others. And one should serve such a devotee. So again, this Mahat Seva is very important. And even if our spiritual master is not on the highest position of realization, he's connected with the Guru Parampara. And still you get the mercy of all the members of the Guru Parampara. But it's advised, Prabhupada advised you follow a pure devotee, the highest devotee. Because if you have a Madhyamadikara devotee, can also guide you, but only to his platform, not higher. Of course, even if you have a Madhyamadikara, the Madhyamadikara will also make advancement. So these are important instructions here, that if we want to be successful in our spiritual life, and we are neglecting this principle here, we will not make spiritual advancement. That it goes through the Guru Parampara. Of course, we see here the situation is very particular. It's very special. Because Brahma, of course, is the first member of our Guru Parampara, who has been instructed by Krishna in the heart. And he's the creator. And now the Muni is asking about the creator, about the creation. Tell me about the creation. Are you creating? Are you independent on your creation? He's asking these questions. And Brahma will answer it, that he will make it very clear. So it's important that we are internal, always connected with the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and his instructions. And to remind us that it's important that devotees pray for whatever they do. They pray the pranam of their Guru Maharaj, and the pranam of Srila Prabhupada. Before every task we do, we pray for insights, for success. And also Brahma gives that example. Before creating, is praying to the Lord. He's praying to the Lord because he is directly connected with the Lord, that he is a pure devotee. No problem. But we cannot do that. We have to go to the Guru Parampara. That's the principle instructed in Bhagavad Gita. And that explains by Lord Krishna to Arjuna that evam parampara praptam imam rajasayo vido nakalne mata yoganasta prantapa. Krishna says, I explain you the same thing I'm giving you this knowledge because it has to come down to the Guru Parampara, but it is now broken. So Krishna starts to Arjuna a new Guru Parampara. Not sure if it went further, but that he instructed Arjuna that, and that's the beginning of a parampara. That good. This about this verse. Any comments, questions, please? Yes, Mother Venuya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have two questions, if possible. My first question, you said at the beginning, so we should approach, we should at first establish relationships with the devotees before we can establish relationships with Krishna. And if I remember, so my first, encounters with Shri Radha Madan Mahans at the beginning as a neophyte, also I'm still a neophyte, but at the very beginning, one is very fixed on Krishna. And this is not so so easy to make good relationships with devotees. So that needs also longer time. And then for now, I'm wondering, we should pray to Krishna. This is something. Also Shri Radha Madan Mohan are very, also they have an open ear to our challenges or questions. When we pray to their lordship, then we approach them directly and not through the spiritual master. So could you explain this a little more, please?
Yes, that establishing a relationship with devotees, what does it mean? That mainly it means machita machata prana bodhyanta sprasyam katyant samam nityam tushanti sharamantishna. You discuss with each other the scriptures about Krishna, and you discuss with each other, and you share your realizations and your challenges, like that we are doing now. You are asking me questions, that and I'm trying to help with my little realization, and by that, but by devotees, especially devotees on the same level, they are sharing with each other their realizations and their challenges. And by doing that, you cultivate friendship. Friendship is the first result. And the second result, or the simultaneous result, is because you learn from each other, because some devotees say, I had this challenge, and I could overcome it in that way. And the other devotee learns, and another devotee may say, yes, but what do you do with this situation? And another devotee say, yes, I had also such a situation. That's what I did. And so you learn from each other and develop friendship. And you feel supported in your sadhana. It strengthens you. So that is the support you get. And that will lead to the desire to serve together. That I remember friendship. I was in in the beginning of the, in the 90s, especially the end of the 90s, and the beginning of the years 2000, I traveled with Prahlad Nanamraj in the Baltics. It was a new area. And when we went together to so many difficulties, sometimes together arrested by the police and so many things. But we went together through these struggles, and we developed a deep friendship. And that's the result. That if you have friendship, you don't consider offenses or minor things. Because there's love, there's friendship. And that's important. You had another question?
Yeah, I need urgently some help. I'm in the final stage of the next poetry books, and I quote in the book the Shri Guru Pranam mantra, also Om Gyana Timirandasya. And the Vaishnavi who helps me with proofreading, she said I must mention the source of this mantra, and she said this is not a little complicated. So could you please help me? What is the correct source of this mantra? What can I write in the book?
Om Gyana Timirandasya Snasnasnakya Sakshranmritam Vinatasmai Shikarape Namah. The source is Prabhupada's books, of course. He quotes that.
Yeah, I have it from the Bhagavad Gita, from the introduction.
But where it comes from the scriptures, I don't know. We can do some research on it. I don't know the exact source from the scripture.
Do you think, for the moment, for my purposes, would be okay if I write Bhagavad Gita as it is, introduction, or this is not the source, this is where it is written. I don't know how to.
That's not a source, but it's a reference.
Reference.
A valid reference that you
okay,
can also do. But I can look at it and do some research, but let's see.
Okay.
You can make a reference, of course.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Okay.
All the best. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Purnachanda Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All good. Yeah, thank you. Very nice class, Maharaj. And thank you for explaining that through mercy we can understand Krishna, and then through service we get mercy. But many times when we are in a temple setup, and there is a lot of opportunity to do service, and then we take service lightly, or we avoid the service which we think, oh, it is too much, or even if it is not too much, we feel that, we just select what is comfortable for me, and leave others just hanging. Or many times through years of Krishna consciousness, after doing so many years of service, we feel, okay, service becomes, secondary. So how to come out of that thought process? How to break that?
Yeah, I think first it's important to do service under authorities. If you decide yourself, that's good for me because I like it, or it's comfortable, this is motivated. So it should be done under the instruction of authorities, that you start a service, a new service under the authority of I can give you my own examples. I'm deeply involved in sannyas ministry. I'm the chairman of different committees, so many things. I never wanted to do that. It was Prahlad Nanamraj who asked me to do that, but I have no inclination to do that. But I'm cooperating because it's not necessary. You work under the instruction of a spiritual master or temple authorities. If we are not working under the instruction of the temple authorities, yes, our service will not be so valuable. in the sense that it's not done in full surrender. That if we do service in full surrender to Srila Prabhupada's mission, and we take Prabhupada's mission first, and then me, then that will please Prabhupada. But if we put me in front and then the mission, that is second class. And that will not directly bring them the mercy of the spiritual master, because it's not pure devotional service. It's mixed devotional service. And that's the problem in our movement with the years that go on. That principle of pure devotional service is not rightly understood. The Prabhupada says in a purport somewhere, if you are paid for your service, it's not devotional service. The only thing you get is your payment. That is what Prabhupada says. That's quite heavy, but that's the reality. That is how Prabhupada's instructions. So doing a service under authorities, that of course it's not that I want to do this and that. Yes, that is your natural inclination, but you have to get it confirmed by authorities. The service. Does that make sense?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. And I have, okay, after Mataji. Yeah, Mataji has a question. Yeah.
Okay, Benuya.
Hare Krishna is related to your answer right now. You said if it's paid, this is not a devotional service. As when we have now the situation that devotees dedicate their life also to the service in the temple. They are not temple devotees, as they live outside and have to maintain themselves with flat and food and everything. Also, and then they're getting older, ne, and not so fit anymore. And until now I don't understand a solution for this, but because there is no Lakshmi there, also from the temple side or from ISKCON side. Do you know what I understand what I mean? Also, this is so. Also if you're a temple devotee, okay, ne, but if you live outside and have to maintain you with everything yourself, ne, also Krishna makes arrangements, but he sometimes gets some payment from insurance or from the government. We have this Bürgergeld in Germany or something like this. What is your opinion to this, please?
That the first thing is, that's what Prabhupada said. If you are paid for your service, then the only result you get is your payment, not spiritual advancement. That is what Prabhupada said. In practice, but the line is very fine between that principle. The line is very fine. I will try to explain that someone lives in the temple, is brahmacharini or brahmachari, is maintained and everything, is maintained by the temple, and the service. That looks okay when it's maintained. But then one is living outside and doing service of the temple and is paid for his maintenance, just for his maintenance, not as a salary. That's a different situation. They calculate what do you need, what are your needs. They can provide it directly, or they can give some money and say you sort it out yourself. So the line is very fine. And that need to be discussed. That But yes, if we get older and we did for so long time service to the temple, we should not have the expectation to be maintained by the temple when we cannot serve anymore. No, that's not possible. That we have to make our own arrangements there. It's not that we surrender all our life to the temple and then we get old and what's the solution? We don't have that structure of devotee care and the possibilities to do that. It's just not possible for the moment. These are practical things. So there are a lot of aspects. Therefore, I say the line is very fine. But if one does service for the temple and says, I want to be paid for my service, then it's not devotional service. If one is maintained by the temple and the service, that's another thing. It's like a brahmachari in the temple. You understand
Yeah, and then I think the practical thing I see I'm thinking of families now, the householder families now, who serve for 30 years or so, and if they fully dedicate their time to their service sadhana and what is for the family needed, then they don't have opportunity to work, né? And to make some arrangements themselves. Also there I see some difficulty.
Yeah, that's a challenge, but ISKCON cannot provide that.
Yeah, that's for this is also this I see also. Huh? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But in Western countries, usually there are arrangements for such situations by the government. Not always, but mostly. Yes, Purnachandra.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah. Maharaj, you mentioned about building the friendship. So many times when we are interacting with devotees, mainly it gets in level of just a service. So what are the tips to create, that deeper friendship among the devotees?
The point is like we have the Bhagavatam class this morning. That are all the devotees there? Not. But that's the moment to cultivate that friendship, have discussions on the scriptures. So therefore, forming small groups in the evening, a few times a week, come together and discuss Prabhupada's books together, take prasadam together, and discuss and cultivate friendship. Also for the congregation, it's important to develop that mood, that they get to know each other. I know in Radha there's sometimes, I've been many years and devotees I know devotees who are 20, 25 years there. I never spoke to them. We are together 25 years, we never spoke to each other. That's not healthy. That mood should be developed to get to know each other, to speak with each other, to discuss with each other. That is spiritual team building, and that is required. If you have friendship with each other, deep friendship, it's easy. It's easy to solve the problems within the community. But when that deep friendship is not really developing, then it's an issue. That the friendship is so important. That be kind to each other, understand each other's situation. If someone has too much burden to take, someone should come and help and help each other. That's friendship. If there is friendship, then that happens automatically. Especially in devotional service, because a devotee wants to serve and he knows serving a devotee is more important than Krishna, serving Krishna. Anyway, that's the theory, how to bring it in practice in DeLand and the congregation is another thing, but it's good we all think about it and try to get that forward. Yeah, good.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you next week. I'm leaving for London tomorrow and come back on Monday, and we have the class next week. Usual time is Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
Okay. Yes, Maharaj.
On Monday I'm traveling back. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Jai
very much.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Hare Bol.
His Honest Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Thank you very much, man.
All the best.
Hare Krishna.